In your role, you get a lot of times to work with people as they're really early on in their automation journey, as they're thinking about what are they going to adopt, how are they going to adopt, what that process looks like. So what are some of the big challenges you hear from people when you start to talk to them about this?
Yeah, I mean, really good insights from the panel just now. I think we see a lot of different things. Obviously, as Ed alluded to, automation has been at the forefront of what we do as companies and trying to innovate, and it's at the top of mind of the C-suite, whether it's to address sustainability or workforce management or IT complexity. It is imperative for us to be focused on automation. Now, I would say, one of the analysts that I follow, Horses for Sources, came out recently and said that 67% of executives, 2/3 of executives, say they're just beginning their automation journey, right? They're really just at the forefront. All of us in this room have accomplished so much, it feels like, but we're really just getting started. And we want to be able to find more value from the investments we're making in automation, right? So some of the big challenges that we have to address, number one is finding the right use cases. Right? A lot of times over the years, we've picked use cases that we're emotionally attached to, right? Like the RPA revolution is a great example of that, right? I hate to say it, it was kind of like the ShamWow of automation. It sucked all the air out of the room and became, like the Flex Seal. Let me fix this, let me fix that, let me fix this. And in reality, we need to be thinking bigger about how we address intelligent automation, how we apply AI-driven decisions, right? And how do we do that? We do that through understanding data. Right? We take a data-driven approach to how we approach automation. We can now use tools like process mining to really understand the complexities in our workflow and address things and actually achieve ROI, right? Christine alluded to it, is if we don't choose the right metrics of what we're tracking to and what ROI means to us, then we're not going to be able to address the problem head on and really fix things in a way that's meaningful and sustainable, and also taking more of an agile approach, right? And starting small, right? A lot of customers or companies that I've worked with make big investments up front, but really you need to find that pilot. You need to learn. You need to get, like DevOps taught us a lot of things. I think she mentioned that as well. BizOps is kind of this continuous workflow improvement that we need to do, continuous process improvement. It's constantly learning. So I think those are the challenges that I think we need to overcome, is choosing the right use cases, using data to inform decisions, and also going to more of a ROI-based approach and using data to inform the metrics we choose.
Is one of those data points cost savings? Is that what people?
Absolutely.
One of the things people are looking for? How do you talk to a customer about that business value of this for them?
So the business value can come in a number of different ways, right? Like the lack of visibility into processes and the complexity of IT and the complexity of the organization and the applications that we've built over time. Cost savings is certainly the first thing that comes to the mind but we also, of the companies we talk to, but we also think about workforce efficiency, right? Ed talked about it, workforce productivity, right? We're facing the great resignation. We want to be able to use automation to enable our employees to spend more time with the customer. If you're in healthcare, we want our doctors and our patient providers to spend more time with their patients instead of behind a computer doing prescription refills and things like that. So it isn't always about the cost savings, it's about what is it accomplishing for my business, right? And you want to be able to enable your organization to be able to do so effectively.
Can you give us a couple examples? We got some good ones, I think, in the last panel. I'd love to hear maybe one or two from you.
Well, sure. I mean, some of the examples really come down to, what are the organizations that we work doing to address intelligent automation? The first thing that, you want to be able to choose the right tools, right? Understanding that you want to choose the right tools for your organization to be able to connect business and IT. Right? A lot of times we see silos within organizations. The line of business is focused on one thing and IT is focused on another thing. Being able to bring tools that can integrate the complexities of both sides of your business are really, really important. And in addition to that, we really want to focus on enabling our workforce to have more of an automation-centric mindset. Right? I think culture change is a really, really big part of how you enable automation. And as I get to some of these examples, really it came down to being able to enable their leadership to take an automation-centric approach. So one of the customers that we work with over in Europe, a large bank, Credito Emiliano, came to us and said, look, we really want to be able to serve our customers better, and we want to improve our front office and to be able to improve our processes. So we took we took them into a workshop and we got to understand their business problem. The first thing in order to figure out, you got to figure out what's the problem here. And in order to inform those decisions, what we did is we took a look at their data, right? We looked at their process data. We used a tool called process mining and really understood the holistic end-to-end view of not only their front office, but their back office processes to give them a starting point, right? A place, a digital twin of their organization to really start to find opportunities and areas for automation. And once we did that, they started to say, okay, now that I've got a view of all these different things within my organization, now how can I enable automation, right? What tools can I use back to choosing the right tools? We allowed them to take a process automation tool and start automating processes all the way through that workflow. In addition, they also used automated decision making, right? So Ed alluded to this in his opening remarks, which is enabling AI to make decisions. We need to train the machines to think like us, to be able not to replace us, to Johan's earlier point, but to be able to augment the things that we do. And if these decisions keep happening over and over again, every time, we need to be able to automate those things so that we can spend more time focused on the customer, right? So they automated, I think, 91 processes. They've got another 100 in the pipeline that they've identified. And according to what they've shared with us, they've saved nearly $2 million in cost savings back to that point. But really, the benefit to them was really this expansive operational efficiency that they gained and being more customer-centric, which is one of the biggest things that a customer or clients are looking for, is to spend more time with their clients and less time behind the computer.
Amazing. And when you're going into this process with them, or if you want to give another example too, that's fine.
Yeah.
What's the group of people that you're trying to get in the room to put this automation into place?
It's a really, really great question. So one of the other examples that I'll bring up, it's a good segue, thank you, is Electrolux. So Electrolux is a large company. It's funny, they're one of the automation pioneers, right? If you think about what Electrolux does for a business, they created washing machines so that we don't have to manually wash our clothes, and vacuum cleaners and refrigerators and all the things that they do. But for them, what we had to help them automate their IT processes. So in order for us to be able to get all the stakeholders in the room, we had to connect business and IT, right? And in order to do so, they were having issues with cloud infrastructure and not being able to scale and solving complex problems. So what we did, we applied a Cloud Pak Watson for AI Ops, and that allowed them to get visibility into all their infrastructure and their resource management and everything like that, so they could apply AI to all of these infrastructure issues that they were dealing with and eliminate, I think they said that took them 2 to 3 weeks to solve some of these problems, and applying AI to their infrastructure, we're now able to solve that within an hour. And to Ed's point, and I think Christine mentioned it, now we've got 1,000 hours a year back into our lives. What do we do with those hours? How productive can we be? So the business and the IT collaborated with that, and also I think to some extent brought in the data folks, as data is extremely important in order for us to modernize their systems and see a ton of benefit for them.
Knowing that most people in the room who are with us today are working in some form of AI or automation, what are a couple of best practices you would give them? What are some great tips you have?
I think the biggest thing is the culture shift that we need to appreciate of what it takes to get this done within a large organization. We saw that with the DevOps revolution, going from a waterfall methodology into an agile methodology. We need to have that continuous delivery, that continuous feedback loop built into the culture of automation, right? And also embracing AI, right? That's been a scary thing for a lot of folks, to really allow AI to start making decisions for our business, right? It takes time to train those models. The machine learning goes on. So we really need to embrace an automation-centric point of view. We also need to empower the folks in our organization to do things with AI and automation, right? If you don't, it's one thing to shift the culture, but you also have to give them the space to do things and to try things and to fail fast and to learn, right? This is something that hasn't changed over time. Like, these are common things that AI and automation is no different. And the last piece of it is to really just use a data-driven approach, right? understanding, we spend a lot of time, I'm a process junkie by trade. I spend a lot of time analyzing processes and looking at end-to-end workflows. Sometimes we might be wanting to fix something in accounts payable, but really not looking at the entire supply chain, which was really a big issue over the last few years. So using data to inform the decisions we make about where we automate will help us do better with AI, and training those models and using data as an approach is really, really at the heart of how we get to the next level of intelligent automation.